All right, so we will see these two provisions. And so we have discussed the primary rules of interpretation. Right now, when we talk about interpretation as such, it's important to understand meaning of a certain given provision. Interpretation is very much needed, and for that we have different types of rules that apply. Okay, when we talk about primary rules of interpretation, these are some rules which tells us the way how we would interpret. Is it that we are going to go with the ordinary meaning of a certain word? Is it that we would try to understand some meaning out of the entire legislation? What is the provision, like how we would do it? So we discussed about literal, golden, mischief, and harmonious construction rule in primary rules of interpretation. Same ways, there are certain secondary rules, or rather some maxims that are being followed. Some how we can derive a meaning out of a certain legislation, and even these secondary rules are also used in deriving meaning from a certain given provision, given concept, or any section, or any other thing. Okay, so there are these three secondary rules of interpretation. So apart from the primary rules, these are also important in understanding meaning from a certain given word. Okay, now what are these three different rules of interpretation and what does they mean? Okay, so first of all, we have noscitur Sociis, which means meaning of unclear words or phrases are determined on the basis of its context and the words and phrases surrounding it. Now, what is it? It's basically two Latin words with which this secondary rule is formed, which means to know and in association. That means we would know meaning of a certain word. How we would know it? In association with other words. What other words are there along with it? By way of that, we try to derive meaning of this unclear word. Okay, one unclear word is there. We will try to understand meaning of it in association with other words. This even happens with us also. Someone might ask you meaning of a certain word, that what does this word mean? Now, one certain word may have different meanings, right? And we cannot straight away say that, okay, this word means so and so. Mostly what we do is we ask that, okay, what is the sentence? Can you tell me the entire sentence so that it's easier for me to tell you the meaning? Why do we say that? Because we want to understand in what context this word is being used, right? We tell meaning, or we give meaning to this particular word by looking at in association along with that what other words are being used. Based on that, we try to give a meaning. Has this ever happened to you? Somebody asked you might be meaning of a certain word and you said, can you tell me the entire sentence? Then I can tell you. Anytime have you experienced? You have, right? Correct. So this mostly happens. So this is nothing but we want to know in what context a certain word is being used so that we can give a proper meaning to it, because some words might have multiple meanings. The importance of this rule is that it aims to interpret the reading by reading the whole statute, like whole statute, whole provision we want to read. What is the context all about we want to know? After that, we can give meaning to it. It does not emphasize one particular word, but it tends to interpret the word by looking into the preceding and succeeding words. What is used before and after in context? Like we basically want to know the context. After that, we give a meaning, just to ensure that we are giving a proper meaning to that particular word. The words are understood in a cognitive sense, and the intention of the legislature can be easily understood. So we don't simply, if someone is asking what is meaning of the word, we don't just simply say, but we want to understand in what context that word is being used, and in that direction only we try to give the meaning. Okay, so there was this case, State of Assam versus R. Muhammad. In this case, Supreme Court made use of this rule to arrive at meaning of the word posting. Now, when we use the word posting, it's also having a lot of different meanings. So this word in this particular case was used in context of Article 233, which is relating to appointment of district judges. Okay, it is relating to appointment. And posting word was used in this particular case. in relation to Article 233 of Constitution. It was held that since the word posting occurs in association with the words appointment and promotion, it took the colors from them, and so it means assignment of an appointee or a promotee to a position, and does not mean transfer of a person from one station to another. So when we talk about posting, it may happen that you are first of all appointed, right? Appointed at that point in time, you would be given some posting, right? You would be appointed and you need some place to work. Mostly it's relating to judges of district court. In case of that, like magistrate and everyone, what happens is they would clear the examination and they do not know which specific court they would be appointed. Okay, that is nothing but posting. Once they clear the interview, everything happens. After that, they would get information regarding posting. So when this word is used in reference to posting, relating to appointment and promotion, that means it's only applicable for appointment and promotion. But simply if a person is transferred without promotion, that is not included over here. Okay, that means posting might also mean that after transfer, where are you being posted? But that is not included because you are not promoted and transferred, you are simply transferred. So simple transfer would not be included because this word is used in context of appointments and promotions. Okay, is it clear or confusing?
It's clear.
Clear, right? So posting as such, it can be used in different contexts also, right? If I simply ask you, okay, what is the meaning of posting? You might even say, okay, posting a letter in the post office, right? But what is the context that we need to understand? After that, we should be giving meaning to it. So what we need to read the entire article. After that, we would give meaning to it. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, another one we have is adjustum generis. Now, what does this mean? It means the word should be given their natural meaning unless it requires special meaning based on the context. Again, we are talking about context here. Now, what is it? Adjustum generis means of the same kind. Okay, I think I have told you about one case, I guess we discussed, or I don't remember. One thing we would say, okay, like 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, 14. Okay, so this is a blank space over here. What number would you put here?
Ma'am,
10. 10. Why 10?
Ma'am, because it is the trend we are following, so it's of the same kind.
Yes, it is. We are seeing that, okay, there is a difference of 2 in all these numbers also, all these numbers also. So this should technically be 10 only. That means we are trying to identify what is common in these numbers and what is common in these numbers. Like you said, trend, right? What is the trend? How are we getting these numbers? We are trying to see that. That means of the same kind. We are seeing that, okay, there is a difference of 2, 2, 2, 2. So this also has to be 10 only. That is nothing but adjustum generis. Okay, that means of the same kind. So generally, the words used, the words should be given their natural meaning. That means usually when I told you like what would you feel in this gap, you said 10. Because I have not as such given you any special point or anything, right? It's a simple question, what would you feel? So if there is no special thing applicable, you would say 10 only. That is what it is, that words should be given its natural meaning unless it requires special meaning based on the context. I have not said that, okay, here you need to multiply it with 4 minus 2 something. I have not told anything. So in that case, you would go with the trend only. What is the trend? Difference of 2. Same ways, when you get some words, you try to get the natural meaning out of it. Okay, in that same context, you try to use it. When general words follow specific words that are distinct in nature, the general word should also be given specific meaning to it. Now, this provision or this rule is applied in many cases. Okay, one case is, it's a very famous case. Okay, this one is relating to Article 12 of Constitution. So what is Article 12 of Constitution?
Ma'am, is it related to the formation of the state?
It is relating to state, but it is providing definition of state. Okay.
Okay.
Let me open it. Constitution of India. Now, what happens is mostly in case of constitution, right? A lot of things have been interpreted multiple times by courts just to make it very clear that, okay, this is only what a certain provision means. Okay, same ways, there is one provision which is Article 12 of the Constitution. That provision has also been interpreted multiple times. Now, what was the need for interpreting? Article 12 basically provides for definition of state, and why it is needed? Because it's relating to fundamental rights. Okay, we are given fundamental rights, and in Constitution multiple time it says the state should do this, the state should not do this. But what is this state? Who should not do? We are saying the state shall not deny, the state shall not discriminate. But what is state? Is it state of Karnataka and Maharashtra? Or is it something else that we are meaning? That has to be clear. Okay, so that is why this word is first of all defined in Article 12. Okay, so this definition, when you look at it, it clearly says that state includes what it includes: government, as in the central government, plus Parliament of India, plus it includes the state government and legislature of each state. Fine, until here it's very much clear. But after that it says all local and other authorities within the territory of India. But now what kind of local and other authorities? That's not very clear. Okay, so that is why a lot of cases were filed in the court saying, is this falling under local and other authority or not? Okay, same ways. There was one question that went before Supreme Court, which is University of Madras versus Shantabai and Madras High Court. Madras High Court had to decide whether University of Madras is a state or not as per this provision. All local and other authorities within the territory of India. Other authorities mean it can be any authority. So does it mean that university is also a state or not? That was the question which court had to decide. Okay, is it clear until here?
Yes, ma'am.
So in this case, Supreme Court applied the principle of existum generis, and what they said is we need to consider something of like nature. As in, first of all, we are saying central government, parliament, state governments, state legislature. So what are we talking about? We are talking about some bodies or some like some bodies who are performing governmental or sovereign functions, right? Parliament, central government, state legislature, they are at a different level, and university is at a different level, right? University is not performing any governmental or sovereign function. It's just providing education to people. So in such a case, we need to see that in what context this first few words are being used. First of all, we are talking about central government, state government, parliament, legislature. So when we are talking about local and other authorities, it also has to have some connection with this. Maybe you can consider municipalities, gram panchayats, etc., who are performing some government functions, but university is like a completely different matter altogether. Okay, so in this particular case, court applied existum generis principle, and court said that university is not falling under this definition of Article 12. Okay, it cannot include persons, natural or juristic, for example, unaided universities, etc. These are not performing any sovereign function. These would not fall under definition of Article 12. Okay, so like that, this particular case was the case decided the matter, but yes, later on it was said that no, it's not correct. Existum generis does not apply. Even universities can be considered as a state. Like that, it was changed. But this is a very important case where this principle was applied to see like nature, what are the common things in the previous like the bodies. It's that they are performing some governmental and sovereign functions. So third one also has to do something similar. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Next one we have is redendo singula singulis. It is again a Latin term, which means referring each to each referring each phrase or expression to its corresponding object. Now, what happens is when a list of words has a modifying phrase at the end, the phrase refers only to the last. Mostly what we do is in one sentence itself, right? We may use 2-3 different words, 2-3 different objects. Okay, now we cannot say that, okay, all these words are referring to each of the objects. No, how we would interpret it is each to each, whatever relates to the object, whatever word relates to the object, that we would take second word, second object, like that we need to take. Okay, in one sentence, even if many words are coming, we would not say that, okay, everything is related to the other. For example, if anyone shall draw or load any sword or gun, the word draw is applied to sword only, and the word load applies to gun only, because you can only load a gun, right? You cannot load a sword. So in that context only we should be using it. If we are taking the example that maybe businessmen, teachers, and doctors should be concerned with their business and professions. In that case, we are saying that businessman is doing business, teachers and doctors are carrying forward their profession, like that. Okay, even if we are using multiple things and then here multiple things, we should use each with each. Whatever is related to this, that only we would use. Okay, businessman is doing business, doctors and teachers are doing their profession. Okay, like that we would use. It would happen in many such cases that in one statement we are getting multiple things, like that we would not club everything together, but each has to refer to that each only. Whatever is related in that context only we would understand. Is it clear or is it confusing?
It's a little confusing.
It is a little confusing. Okay, fine. Take the example that you are having, might be a cycle, okay, a bicycle. You are having a car, okay, and one person says that, okay, tomorrow we are going out and we would need the bicycle also, we would need the car also. So because we are going very far, make sure that it is having the pressure. What do you call it? Cycle, that pressure, right?
Yes, ma'am, tire pressure.
Tire pressure. Okay, fine. So a person is saying that tomorrow we are going out and we are going very far. So we would need the cycle also, we would need the car also. Make sure that tire pressure as well as petrol is enough. Now, in that case, even though I'm using the words tire pressure and petrol, obviously petrol is not applicable for cycle. Okay, and pressure would be applicable even for car also. They would check, right, that thing while filling petrol. That means when we talk about cycle, you would not go and pour petrol there because it's not relating to it. Okay, so whatever is related to what, that ways only we would understand. Even though in one sentence itself I have said check the tire pressure also and petrol also, you would not fill petrol in a cycle, or you would not just pour it in the cycle, because that does not make sense. Okay, same ways, even though in one sentence I'm using multiple things, you would understand it in reference to wherever it is applicable only. Okay, so you can load a gun, you cannot load a sword, so that ways only you would understand. Is it clear or still confusing?
Ma'am, it's clear now.
It's clear, right? So these are the secondary rules which are applied, that in what context, mainly it's about the context, how a certain word or a certain provision is being used, that we need to consider. Okay, so these would be used in order to understand meaning of a certain word. Hey, before we continue, I wanted to inform you about my live mentorship program for LLB students or law aspirants. Law subjects and law topics need detailed clarity. We get that with the help of cases, examples, and detailed explanation. It's definitely not possible to include everything in these short videos. If you find my videos easy to understand and you are looking for some professional help in preparing for your examination, you can join my live mentorship program. Here you will be getting exam tips, answer writing skills, detailed notes that you can refer for your examination, cases, examples, and in a very easy way topics will be explained. I have live classes going on for a lot of subjects as of now. To know more about it, you can drop me a message on this WhatsApp number. I'm also helping a lot of students in writing their assignments. If you need any such help or for any queries, any suggestions, you can drop me a message on this WhatsApp number. And now let's continue with our video.